Welcome to the podcast for G's only. For G's only. And it's for all women who's at the C-suite level. CEO. And we coming your way to share our stories in leadership. So we walking the walk, talking the talk, being the boss lady. Welcome to the C-suite, where we help build women leadership and how to be the boss lady. So welcome to the C-suite. So let's talk about being a CEO.
Hello, and welcome to She Suites podcast with your host, Jodi Hood. This is a place where women executives and aspiring She Suites share and compare unfiltered realities that our counterparts, the male in the suites, will never face. We laugh, we cry, we thrive, and we survive. Now, today, as I promised, we're going to be talking about emotional intelligence and why it is important in the suite. Of course, just like my other podcast, this is going to be a 3-part series, but we're going to do the first one today. So let's talk about emotional intelligence. So what is that? Well, the term emotional intelligence was coined in the 1990s. Yeah. And there are actually 5 components. 5 components. And we're going to deal with those today. And then we will talk next week about why they are important. We'll give a few scenarios. And lastly, we'll talk about why it is important, what we can do to improve our emotional intelligence. So firstly, we're going to talk about self-awareness. Now, if you are self-aware, you can see your own patterns of behavior and motives. You know how your emotions and actions impact those around you, for better and for worse. You can name your emotions, and when they come up, you understand your emotions and what they are and why they are there. That's pretty in tune with yourself. Now, you can also recognize your triggers. Can you believe that some people don't realize what their triggers are? And over again, they find themselves going off in the office and they haven't identified what ticks them off. But it is to your advantage to know your triggers. You also need to know your strengths and your own limitations. Being self-aware also means you're humble. We're all only human after all. Now, next is self-regulation. If you can self-regulate, your emotional reactions are in proportion to the given circumstance. Have you ever seen someone who overreact, even if it's the littlest thing? They just go way over, like over the top. That means they are having difficulty self-regulating. Now, when you can self-regulate, you know how to pause as needed, and you can control those impulses. You think before you act, and you consider the consequences. You know what? It also means that you know how to ease tension. You know how to manage conflict. You can cope with difficult scenarios, and God knows in the suite, you will encounter many difficult scenarios. And you are able to adapt changes to changes in your environment. It's all about bringing out the part of yourself that helps manage emotions. I'm telling you, if you can't manage those emotions, you are going to have trouble in the suite. As a matter of fact, that is one of the quickest ways to get invited out of the suite. Next, we're going to talk about motivation. If you are intrinsically motivated, you have a thirst for personal development. You're highly driven to succeed, whatever your version of success looks like. And most women and men in this suite are highly motivated. You know what? With this motivation, you're inspired to accomplish your goals because it helps you grow as a person rather than doing it for outside rewards like money, fame, status, or recognition. although money helps. Now, we're going to talk about empathy. Empathy. If you are I'm sorry. If you are empathic, God knows what's going on today. If you're empathic, you're a healthy level of self-interested, but you're not self-centered. In conversations, you can understand where somebody's coming from. You can walk a mile in their shoes, so to speak. Even if the exact scenario hasn't happened to you, you can draw on your own life experiences to imagine how it may feel. And you can also be compassionate about what that person is going through. When you have empathy, or when you're empathic, you're slow to judge others, and you possess the awareness that we're all just doing the best we can with the circumstances we've been given. We know better. We do better. All right. Now, we're talking about EQ, emotional intelligence. Lastly, we're going to talk about social skills. If you've developed your social skills, you're adept at working in teams. And we know that one of the major skills being when you are able to thrive in the suite is being able to manage teams and to work in teams. With social skills, you're aware of others and their needs in a conversation or conflict resolution. You're welcoming in conversation. You use active listening. We're not just hearing, we're actively listening. You have eye contact. You have verbal communication skills and open body language. You know how to develop a rapport with others or express leadership if the occasion calls for it. That's it, folks. So that's pretty much what emotional intelligence is. Now you're wondering, why is it even important? Well, there is a study, we're always talking about research. There's a research example in a research study that they did in 2013. And it suggests that a well-developed EQ can help you achieve the goals of your organization and increase your job satisfaction. In part, guess why? Because of the positive relationships fostered in the workplace. In fact, according to that study, a high EQ can help others around you achieve their success, particularly if you're working in a group. So remember, when you manage your emotions, the influence that you have will be an influence on those around you, and they'll start doing the same. So if you are in tune with your emotions and you're working on a group, everybody wins. And I love win-win situations. Now, as I said, next week, we're going to give examples of emotional intelligence and how it would look in the workplace. We're going to give actual scenarios. And then the next week, we'll talk about how we can improve our emotional intelligence. All righty, guys, this has been a good one. I love talking about emotional intelligence. It is a rather new term. Again, it was introduced in 1990, but it is so prevalent in the workplace. Prevalent meaning people are not aware of their emotional intelligence. Yet, when you are much more successful. So I hope you got something out of this podcast today. And I want you to tune in next week so you know what I am about to ask you to do. What? I would love for you to like me on Facebook. How about connect with me on LinkedIn, Dr. Jodi Easterling Hood, or subscribe to my YouTube page, Jodi Hood. Now, you know what I want you to do? I want you to keep walking the walk, and I need you to keep talking the talk. It's not enough of us in the suite. Yes, but I need you to say this with me. C-suites, talk to the men in the C-suite. The she-suites are coming, And we're talking about the women. Yes, we are. So until next week, one more time. Keep walking that walk. What did I say? And keep talking that talk.
Welcome to the podcast for G's only. For G's only. And it's for all women who's at the C-suite level. CEO. And we're coming your way to share our stories in leadership. So we walking the walk, talking the talk, being the boss lady. Welcome to